Hey there, it's Claudia, and we are into week 9, topography. We're working with contour lines. I wanted to go ahead and show you how to get started on your chapter 8, problem number 4 drawing problem. Okay, so if you'll go over to your WebCT and go ahead and get into your activities and your assignments, you'll find, hey there, it's Claudia, week 8. Actually, this is week 9. Hey there, it's Claudia. It's week 9, and we are covering topography, also known as contour lines this week. And you've got a couple of drawing problems that you're required to complete. One is chapter 8, number 4. And what I wanted to do was go ahead and show you how to get started on this particular assignment. The file here actually is this file right here. So this actually shows you what your drawing is going to look like in the end. And I wanted to give you that so you had a really good feel for how to get started on this first drawing problem for this particular chapter. Okay, so if you go into your book instructs you to go to Pearson Learning. It's actually pearsonhighered.com/careers/resources. Takes you to this page here. You'll come over here to Browse by Discipline, and you go down to Construction Management and Civil Technology. That will allow you to see the book here that we are using, Civil Drafting Technology, and you have your student resource files. I would save those files. Basically what you're saving is all of the resource files for this particular book, and you'll come up with a drawing file for chapter 8, number 4. All right. So when you open that file, it's going to look like this. All right. You'll notice that it shows up in decimal units. My recommendation is to have your template up and running as well, so that you could basically just take this and copy it and then paste it into your template. And then that way you have all of your layers, all of your text, everything that you have preset in this particular file. And I'm just going to paste that at 0, 0. All right. This actually comes in, it's a decimal file, so you'll notice when we brought it in, it's decimal file. So you want to make sure that you change your template over to a decimal file as well, so that you are working with the same units. And I'm going to type in units and come over here and pick decimal. Okay. How to get started on this? Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my layer over to topo. So that's what you would want to be drawing in. This layer actually came in as thin black. So my other recommendation is to move this over, and you'll get some in your property. So property lines. I'm going to change that to a different color so you can see it better on my screen. All right. There's roadways in here, so you might want to go ahead and change your roadways over to the proper layers. It's always a great idea to be using layers appropriately. All right, so I'll just kind of get started on that for you. I'm going to put that in C road. Okay. All right, so you can go ahead and change those as well. And any of your annotations that are in here, I would definitely move all of your annotations over to your C anno note. Okay, so that everything's in the proper layer. And I haven't changed everything, but that gives you a good idea of how to get started. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line. And so I'm going to set up my layer, snaps, to intersection. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the rest of these. I'm just going to draw a line from this intersection All right, intersection is on. This intersection, and actually line from here to here. Okay, and I could go ahead and go further. When you look at your book, and actually probably it's in your book, but it'll show you a graphic scale down here, and your graphic scale will show you that you're working at 1 to 100 feet, and you're showing your contours every 5 feet. So when we're working at 100 feet, we're actually going to need to figure out what's the distance from this point to this point based on 500 feet, because 100 times 5. So what I would do is maybe just draw yourself a line. All right, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball that in. And I'm going to offset this every 500 feet. Okay. And that gives me an idea of actually how I'm starting this. I take that back. I'm going to offset this every 100 feet because this shows that my center line starts at 656. So let me go ahead and erase these two lines. I'm going to offset this first line 100 feet. I could go ahead and offset this every 100 feet, and that's going to help me actually get to 50 or 500 or 5. Okay, so I have all of these offset at every 100 feet, so that gives me a really good idea of how to go ahead and start working with my topography. You'll notice that in some cases I do have some topo markers that tell me what these elevations are set to. All right, so this one says it's 655, and the center of this road is 656. So using the spline command, I think that's the best command to use here. I'm going to go ahead and start out here, and I'm going to come through this intersection, and I'm going to come to this point here. I think what would be best is for me to also set up perpendicular so that I can draw lines perpendicular from certain points. Okay, so I'm going to come perpendicular to this point here. And when I look at the remaining elevations here, I see that I am beyond 55, so I'm just going to pull this one out. All right, so that's the way I'm going to go ahead and get started on creating my elevations through, well, my contour lines through my elevations. I can also draw myself a line from here to here, and again I'm just going to draw myself just a construction line up, and here I might just offset this every 500 feet because that's my 50 feet with 100 scale. And so again I have a really good idea of how my contour lines are going to come through these points. So I can see I have a 65 up here, I have a 55 down here, I have a 56, I have a 54. So I might actually just start my spline at this point, coming through this intersection. All right, and I'm going to come to this point right here. I'm kind of eyeballing that perpendicular, and I'm going to come about 10 feet away there, and I know that this is 54 feet, so on the other side of it I'm going to have 55 feet. Okay, so I'll come about 10 feet away and move that up to this point. I'm going to say nearest to this point because I want to go perpendicular to the other side of the road. And again, I'm just pulling this up and trying to be about 1 foot away. All right, so that's the way that you're going to go ahead and get started on drawing your contour lines. Again, what I would do is definitely take a look at this map right here. It gives you the assignment completed, but it'll give you a good idea of how to get those contour lines in so that when you get to assignment 8.5 and 8.6, you have a better idea of how to plot those. Okay, all right, have fun.